Hi. Thank you for agreeing to talk with me.
No worries.
Here we are in Montreal. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're on this tour with Lorna Shore.
Yeah.
Aborted, and a few others. It feels like you're in the eye of the storm at the moment.
Yeah.
It feels like these are selling out and then getting upgraded and then selling out again.
Yeah.
This one did this week.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
How does it feel
crazy.
on this tour?
It's awesome. It's like one of the most history-making tours like we've ever been a part of. Like it's very rare that you see like a death metal or deathcore band like do an entire tour and the whole thing sold out.
Yeah,
it's insane. And what's really cool about it is like the amount of fans that have been coming up to us after the show and saying, "This is my first ever show that I've ever been to," is like unbelievable. So yeah, it's amazing to be a part of it. So I hope that we've impressed and that we've made a shit ton of new fans that are going to come and see us again next time we come around.
When you booked this tour, did you have any idea that it was going to be like this?
I had a feeling that it was going to be like this because what Lorna Shore are doing at the moment is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like the buzz that's around them at the moment in this scene before.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing, but it's amazing though, because it's amazing for all other bands in the scene, because the saying is a high tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
So Lorna Shore are bringing in all these new fans to death metal and deathcore, and then they're going to listen to Lorna Shore and be like, oh my God, what else sounds like this? And then obviously then they start looking into other bands that are of the same wheelhouse. And obviously us being on this tour means that they get to see us every day. So yeah, it's great. It's great to be a part of it.
It must be. Honest. So what do you think it is? What do you think is in the water at the moment that's kind of bringing this music to a wider audience?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always kind of seen that musical trends kind of go in 10-year cycles. Because if you think back 10 years ago, that was the original big deathcore boom. With bands like Whitechapel, Suicide Silence, Job for a Cowboy, Despised Icon, all those bands, they came out. Yeah, exactly. Montreal's very own. But they came out about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer, but the big boom.
Actually, Despised Icon celebrated the 20th year this year. So,
well, I mean, the big boom of it, when it all happened, that was around 10 years, give or take. And then it's 10 years later, another big band has come along, which is Lorna Shore, who again, they're not a new band. They've been going as long as us nearly. Do you know what I mean? It's not they've just come out of nowhere. They've put the hard work in, they've put the graft in, and it's paid off for them. But now, because you've got that one big band in the scene, that creates the buzz around the entire musical genre, and everybody benefits. I think it's it always comes in 10-year cycles, and there'll always be one leading band that generates that fire, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we were talking just before about the Damnation Festival, which has just been here in Manchester. And there, some of the bands there were proper, what people would call extreme music. Full of Hell, Pig Destroyer, people like that, Converge headlines. And there was I think it was 7,000 people there. I'm not exactly sure how many people were there, but for extreme music, it was unprecedented and it was amazing to see. So it does feel like what the general public would not understand and would just think was noise seems to be finding a broader and broader audience. And I don't know what it is, but obviously you guys are going to be part of that. And
hopefully.
You paid your dues, for sure. You've got the new album out.
Yeah.
It's been out a few weeks. What's the reception been like for that?
Amazing. It's been really, really good. This is our Metal Blade Records debut album. So it's our first album on Metal Blade Records. And the reception's been absolutely amazing. The reviews have been fantastic. The album's doing really well. So yeah, I couldn't be any happier with how it's going. I mean, we tore ourselves open and poured our heart and soul into this album. It's a really personal album for us. There's a lot of deep shit in there. There's a lot of reality, our reality anyway, and the things that we've experienced and the things that we've had to deal with over the past few years. There's a lot of stuff about loss addiction, depression, like, so it's quite heavy, like, themes in it, like, so, but, like, you know, it's not like it's just like a depressing album or anything, because at the end of the day, like, I see it as quite hopeful, even though, like, it may seem hopeless, like, with the themes that we're talking about. At the end of the day, we came out of the other side of it, like we beat our personal demons, and also like the hardships that we had to face, like, as a band as well. So, like, to see the album doing so well and seeing so many people, like, enjoying it, that's like a really good feeling. Like, because if our experiences and the way that we tell our story can help anyone in any way, like, you know, to let them know that even when, like, the world does seem like at its darkest, and, you know, it seems like all hope is gone, like, there is always like a sliver of light there. Do you know what I mean? You can always, like, beat it. You can get out of that shit, and you do have value, you do have worth. Like, if anyone can take anything from that, like, to me, that's like more important to me than selling like 1 million records. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if like our experiences can help people who are maybe not experiencing the same thing, but like the same sort of feelings and emotions, like, that's important to me.
And when you talk to fans, do you get like a sense of that? Yeah.
Like, I've had a lot of fans who've come up and said, like, your music's really, like, helped me out of, like, dark periods in my life, or, you know, I was feeling this way, and then I listened to your band or saw you in an interview or something, and, like, your words, like, really helped me with that. Like, that, I don't know, that, like, gives me, like, a warm feeling, do you know what I mean? Like, that sure. Makes me, like, super happy. That makes me more happy than someone coming up and going, yo, that riffing from Hollow Woods is sick, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because, I mean, that's great and everything, but, I mean, like, I wanted this album to be an album that you don't just listen to it, you feel it.
Yeah, and I definitely think it does work on that level.
Yeah.
And it feels like you've pushed yourself a little bit. And obviously, you know, working as a threesome instead of what you had before, like, what were the pros and cons of working like that?
There were no cons, to be honest. Nah, I mean, like, you know, it's shit, like, it's always going to be shit, like, when you lose a band member. Because it's someone that you've spent, like, 15 years with, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so you kind of like family, but, I mean, at the end of the day, the writing the music has always been Sean anyway. Like, so it made absolutely no difference to the creative process. Like, if anything, it's got more streamlined now, because me, Sean and Lynn are all on the same page. Like, so we're on the same page with our vision for the band. We're on the same page musically. Like, we know exactly where we want to go, what we want to do. And now there's no resistance, there's no kickback, there's no negativity. Like, we all know exactly what we want to do and what our roles are, and we just get it done.
Yeah. And what, to you, is the fundamental difference on this album from what you've done before? Apart from the lyrical content?
I mean, I think, like, the way I look at Ingested is, the way that I describe Ingested is, we're kind of like a musical shark. As in, like, we don't ever stay still. Because we can't stay still or we'll die. Like, do you know what I mean? Right. We can't go backwards or we'll die. We always have to be moving forwards musically. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, we're like a musical shark. You've always got to be going forwards. So, like, even, like, if you listen to our albums, like, in chronological order, you can hear that evolution of sound. Like, every single album, we're always adding new elements, new sounds. We're playing with stuff that we haven't ever done before, because we get bored otherwise. Yeah. So, like, but now I feel like with this album, we've really got into a place where we're really comfortable with experimenting with stuff like melodies. Like on the title track, we used Julia's vocals, which we've never done anything like that before, ever, and it works so well. Like,
was she aware of the band before?
Yeah. So she's our engineer, Nico. So he's the one who, like, records records us all, and then we send it over to Christian Donaldson for mixing and mastering. But Julia, she's Nico's wife.
Okay.
But she's like a professional singer in Mallorca.
You can tell.
Yeah, so basically we were in the studio when we were recording it, and I got really ill, so I had to go to hospital and stuff. So I couldn't record for the rest of the time that we were there. I ended up having to do my vocals at home.
Right.
But that meant that we had time in the studio to play around with stuff, and we were listening to Ashes Lie Still, the title track, and we were like, right, it needs something. There's something missing. So then Julia was just in the studio that day because she'd come to see Nico and come to see us and see how we were doing and that. And we asked her, we were like, do you want to just like vocalize, like just do some like melody or whatever? And she did it, and we were like, yeah, that sounds almost there. It just needs something else. And then she said, well, what are the lyrics? Give me the lyrics and I'll figure something out. So we gave her the lyrics, and then she just fucking nailed it. Like she just figured out a bit like how the melody would work with the lyrics, and yeah, the rest is there for you to listen to. Like,
yeah, and obviously in the video as well.
Yeah, we got her in the video as well.
And you know, for people who don't understand death metal, and that's a lot of people, if they just happen to stumble across that video, they would be like, oh, like that's not what I would expect.
Yeah.
At all. So it's got that little element of surprise as well, and I think that's a cool thing.
That's what we want to do. We want to surprise people. We don't ever want to veer too much away from what our sound is, but again, we don't want to retread old steps because we'll get bored, and if we get bored, we'll stagnate and then we'll die. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, so we're always going to be adding new shit in, but it'll always sound like Ingested. But what Ingested sounds like, that's the question, isn't it? Like, because what I like about our band is like people can't pigeonhole us. Some people go, oh, they're a slam band, oh, they're a deathcore band, oh, they're a death metal band, oh, they're this, they're that, they're over. Like, and it's like, well, that's the beauty of it. You don't know what we are. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's how I kind of like it. I like to sit on the proverbial fence, like when it comes to like what type of music we actually make. Yeah, it's death metal. But do you know what I mean? That could mean anything. Like this.
Yeah, true.
So I like that. I like that you're not able to pin us down musically.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who don't get death metal, the phrase, it just all sounds the same.
Yeah.
Like I would love to just like sit them down and play your album and go, really? Like you might not be into it, but really, does it all sound the same? It doesn't, obviously.
Exactly.
So okay, that's cool. So I really want to just quickly touch on what you listened to when you were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure your parents weren't around the house playing death metal.
No.
So what was the first music you were
well, my dad was like really into 80s music and stuff. Like he was a bit of he used to go around dressed like he was in Kraftwerk.
Okay.
Like my dad, seriously. So he used to wear like red leather shoes, like black suit trousers, a red leather belt, a black shirt with a red leather tie, like, and he'd have his hair bleached blonde. So he was proper 80s, my dad. Like, and so like, I grew up listening to stuff like Kraftwerk, Gary Newman, and then like stuff like Duran Duran. And then my mum was a big Queen fan, so Queen were a big band for me growing up. But I first heard metal when I must have been about 10 or 11, no, 10, because I was in primary school, so I must have been about 10. And I went round to my best mate at the time's house for tea after school, and I could hear this like unholy racket coming from upstairs. And I was like, what is that? Like, and because I'd never heard anything like that before. And my mate David was like, oh, that's my brother Andrew, he's probably listening to like his music and stuff. And I was like, can we go and listen? Like what is this? Like, so we went upstairs. Yeah, I remember exactly what it was. So we went upstairs, and Dave knocks on his brother's door. Andrew opens the door, he's like, oh, what's up? And Dave's like, oh, Jason wants to know what you're listening to. And he's like, come on in. Like, and he's like, fucking play me all. So what he was listening to at the time was Demanufacture by Fear Factory.
Wow.
So he started playing me fucking Fear Factory, Pantera, Metallica, Slayer, Hatebreed, Machine Head, Slipknot. Oh no, Slipknot wasn't out yet. because I remember when that came out, because I was already into metal when that came out. Cold Chamber, that was another one that he was playing to me, and I was just mind blown because I'd never heard anything like this before. And then when it was time to go home, he said, "Oh, take these 2 CDs with you, you can borrow these and then just bring them back when you're done with them." And he lent me Demanufacture and Obsolete by Fear Factory, and I went home, and like I didn't have like I was like pretty poor kid growing up, and so I didn't have like a Sony CD Walkman or anything. I had a fucking tape deck, and the only CD player that we had in the house was one of those big fucking Alba stereos, you know, them big fucking monstrosities. And so I put the CD in, and I got fucking tapes, and I just copied the CD to the tapes. And then every day on the way to and from school, I'd be listening to fucking Fear Factory on my little cassette tape, and that was how I got into metal.
Nice.
And from then I just started fucking devouring it all, like just wanted to listen to more and more and more. And then Slipknot first album came out, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? And then that band pretty much changed my life. Like I was so obsessed with Slipknot, like it was crazy. I remember when Iowa, their second album came out, I was so obsessed with them that my mum gave me the day off school and took me to HMV at 8:30 in the morning. Bearing in mind, it didn't even open till 9. And I stood outside HMV for half an hour in the pouring rain because I wanted to be the first guy to get the CD. Wow. And I got it, and then I went home, and then I just listened to that fucking CD over and over and over and over and over again.
Amazing.
And that was it, the rest is history, as they say.
Now we're in Montreal with you.
Yeah, now we're in Montreal on a fucking sold out tour.
Yeah, incredible. And talking about lines outside, you know, it's -4, -5 outside.
Oh yeah, I bet that fucking queue's all the way around, isn't it?
The lines around the block, so people are ready.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Like every fucking show has been like this. It's been like queues around the fucking block every day. Like it's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
I'd be really interested to see what happens next.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got more singles coming out, and then we've got our Christmas shows in London and Manchester, the Seasons Beating shows, on 22nd and 23rd of December, so running right up to Christmas Eve.
Right.
And then after that, we're hitting Europe with Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral. So yeah, the future's looking bright, mate. I'm excited. I'm excited.
And Aborted tonight as well.
Yeah.
And obviously Sven's done some stuff with you.
Yeah, so, he has. Yeah, that song was awesome as well.
Yeah, I interviewed him as well. So.
Yeah, he's nice, Sven. I love Sven. I've got a lot of love for him.
Well, it's really nice to see things going so well for you and the scene in general.
Yeah.
So have a blast tonight, literally.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Cheers, man.